let's talk about maximalism and why I'm personally getting drawn away from it and feeling inspired to just have less and to be happy more so with just what I have, which I know it's a rhetoric that's often repeated. Minimalism is nothing new. We all know about Marie Kondo and her ethos, right? We've seen the documentaries about minimalism. It's everywhere. But it wasn't until I watched this video on TikTok today that a girl was showing her very small makeup bag with few products in it of what she uses and what she has, that it struck me how opposite it actually is, and the ideal of beauty and the standard, I guess, that's presented to us is very much having too much, like you can never have enough. And seeing that video, I thought to myself, why am I buying into the opposite? Because actually, it's not really intrinsically what makes me feel good. If anything, it stresses me out and makes me anxious. And that's especially so because I have found myself this summer working in Greece as a tour leader. So I'm perpetually going on trips, perpetually packing up my things, my toiletry bags, etc. And I thought by this point I would have it down pat. I thought I would be able to pack less, have everything that I need because I knew where I'd be going and what I would be doing and what I would need to wear. But I found that being on these trips and being around other girlies who also like to dress up, because I get, those types of clients on my trips, which I love, also feeds and plays into the ego a little bit. As a woman, Euro summer is sort of fed to us as this kind of it's like this event that you need to sort of match up to in terms of what you're wearing and the photos and all of the aesthetic pretty things that come alongside with it. Yes, you're going on holiday. Yes, it's Europe. It's always going to be an amazing time, but it's also how you look in some part. And intellectually, I can separate myself from it. I can tell myself and acknowledge that I've sort of evolved past wanting to look a certain way and be validated in a certain way. However, you can't sometimes escape the feeling of also just wanting to look good and wanting to fit in and wear the right things. So the trappings I found myself falling into is feeling like I need a new thing. Every trip that I go on, I just need this, I just need that. And when I come home and I unpack and look at what I already have, I realize that I just clearly have too much. And I can say to myself, like I'm saying to you, that I'm going to do better and I'm going to be a minimalist and my suitcase won't be so full. I won't have to sit on it to close it. However, in reality, it's very challenging to sometimes change your perception, not only of beauty, but of consumption. And just reflecting on that and seeing that video, it made me realize that we need more content that promotes less is more. Every time I go online, especially as a woman and having my algorithm already so finely tuned into beauty and fashion, there's just always the next thing that I want. And it's fed to me and it's fed to you in the way of people showing you trends and telling you that what you have in your wardrobe is out and this is in. Don't get the Sambas, they're old news. Get this shoe. This is the best new lip gloss. Forget about the other 10 lip glosses you have. This is the one, And I can appreciate it. We can all appreciate it for what it is on a surface level. It's just a bit of fun and frivolity. However, I think if we keep buying into that, if we keep feeding into the trappings of our ego, we're just never happy and we don't feel like we can't appreciate what it is that we already have. It just kind of leaves this gap, right? That constantly needs to be filled. It's always empty, it's never satisfied. It's like a hungry, hungry beast. And we need to keep feeding the beast to make it beautiful. So I don't know what the solution is, to be honest, because I know for me, like I said before, I can very well tell you that I'm going to challenge myself to buy less and to be happy with what I have, but it's just like psychologically something that sort of needs to happen gradually and over time. So I just hope by putting this out into the universe, we can maybe start. I hope by seeing videos like this, like in the same way I was inspired by seeing that video, it encourages a different way of thinking when it comes to buying all the time. I know what it's like to be a maximalist. I'm a Leo, like it just is in my blood. We want to look good, we want to show up and show out, like it's just a part of it. I totally understand, and maybe it's a matter of separating our identity sometimes and realizing that it's not all tied up in the outer and how we put ourselves out into the world. Like maybe it's also how we carry ourselves, and maybe it's also our connection to the world around us, which doesn't exclusively have anything to do with how we're being perceived by the outset. So where does that lead us? Like what can we do? How can we change our ways? I think we need to keep sharing content that promotes the opposite effect of overconsumption. I think we need to see people not showing us their hauls, not showing us what they're buying and what we should be buying. To do that also, though, there needs to be a sort of shift within us, and I hope that just starts by reevaluating what it is that genuinely makes you happy. Because I can say for myself that when I come home from these trips that I have with these amazing groups of people that I get the pleasure of taking around Greece, I don't think about what I'm wearing. Yes, you appreciate the odd photo that gets taken in a pretty dress, but like really it is about the presence that you have with people. It's about the connectedness that you feel with them, and so much of that happens only when you're not so inwardly focused and you're just simply enjoying things for how they are. To be able to do that though, it is so necessary and imperative to be content with just less. less. I don't know. Maybe it'll take a moment for me as well to sort of implement this in my life in a very real way, but the cogs are turning for me. I just hope that, I don't know, maybe this inspires something in you, whether it's reevaluating whether or not you need that extra lip liner or lip oil, and just realizing that everything that you have is enough. It is enough. You will live another day if you don't go to the shop and buy that extra thing that you've seen on the TikTok.